Greetings and welcome to another episode of the Reconnect Podcast and TV Show. Today here we are at Njays restaurant and we have the distinguished guest Nchakha, Monyane. Greetings and welcome to the podcast.
Thank you very much, Thapelo, and greetings to your viewers. I'm excited to be here. It's been a while. It's been a while and rescheduling appointments, but finally we are here.
Before we go any further, can you please start by telling us about your background and your journey on Tonakholo, especially educational background? Up until get us school.
Okay, not. So, ke motho a Leribe, Tabola. I am Genari. So, I was raised there. And I attended primary schools there, 2 primary schools, Kotala Primary School, and then later on to be Tiko Multiracial. And then after primary, then I went to Leribe High School. So I go on away. I went to Leribe High School. It was a boarding school. I think it's a place where I did learn most of the life or what we live in now, because it was a boarding school. You are, I think, maybe mama 12 years, and you're just left there. Your parents and you're left on your own. You need to live. I think that's why I learned to live, to learn the lesson of living below your means, because you'd be given some pocket money to say this will last you for the whole month, and if you squander all the money, it's up to you. And then from there onwards, at Leribe High School, I went to the National University of Lesotho.
What year was it?
It was in 2000.
Wow.
Most of the time when I go to NUL now and I tell them, and I talk to students and I tell them I was here in 2000 and some of you were not yet born. I hope you see. But it was 2000 to 2004. So I stayed there, and that's where I learned most of being on your own, because I was from the boarding school. It wasn't a peculiar experience now, because I was already used to living on my own. So at National University of Lesotho, that's where you learn how to use stipend, manpower, and this one, it's just the money that you're given and you get it after 6 months. So you need to learn how to survive, and there's lots of temptations, but you have to go through that. And I did economics, Bachelor of Arts in Economics, minoring in statistics, and then from there onwards, for a while, and afterwards, then I went to it was a correspondence. Correspondence into it. It was I did a course with UNISA while I was working, and I did Master of Business in Leadership, which is MBL, and that's when I did business. And from the MBL I did some short courses, because I was now aware that I'm going to be the financial coach that I am today. So I did some short courses to help me manage people's money better, help me to learn some of the things. I did financial coaching with and I also did a course in managing the benefits, pension benefits and other benefits with the same UNISA. So it was just now saying I am into managing people, then I should professionally educate myself on how to do that so that I don't do mistakes. So that's my journey up to now. There's short courses that I did, some of them I can't even remember. But yeah, it was just those short courses, and I did some short course also in business, because now I'm dealing with some businesses for people. Yeah, that's about it.
While you were studying it, and what were you doing it?
Economics, yeah.
The statistics. So how Nchakha, the program, was it something that you like did you follow your passion kappa no longer get the results and you was like you should do economics?
Yeah. Honestly, it's the second one. So I wanna have a hola. It was that time when career guidance, there wasn't much information on what courses you're doing. So it was either how pasite handle. There was a problem when you have good results, because many options were there for you, and you had to choose from them, because now every door will be open. So most of us, when you complete your studies, your Form 5 and then pass the first class, they will tell you, okay, how am I going to do BSc? And it was what most of the people did, and I think I didn't like BSc for some reason, and I had to look for an alternative, and alternative was economics by then, and that's how I came to economics, because all my results nearly hadn't, and I could choose any course that I liked, but I chose economics because for some reason I didn't like the science to that extent. So honestly, I can't say I followed my passion. But this is where it brought me, and I'm not regretting at all.
Well, for some people, the career, any word of advice to give to them, like how should like career guidance of how they can choose their career or career?
I can say in this era, information is just here, and what we need to do is just look at the right places. Because like I said, in our times, almost now WhatsApp, post on Facebook, and you just had to be given information, give out to who have gone through it. And now there's a lot of information on the internet, and there's people who are willing to mentor people in terms of career guidance, in terms of how to choose a career wisely. So I'll just say to them, go and search, definitely you'll find, because most of our youth, we just go to social media and look at gossip and look at and laugh at it, but we don't use social media wisely. So I'll just say to them, research, and then definitely there's information, and they should knock on doors. There's people out there who are willing. Go and get on Falafel. If you can come to me on Wele and ask me about the course, I would happily advise you, because most of us, where we are, we don't want the young people should experience the same challenges that we did experience. So there's people out there who are willing and able to tell you of the journey that you may take, and it's just for you to knock on their doors.
So currently, what are you doing? Also, tell us a bit more about Visionary Mentors, Lorna,
Alright, let's smile. This is my baby. So I'm currently the managing director of Visionary Mentors. It's investment advisory company where we advise people. It's registered in the Companies Act of Lesotho Trade Industry, and also the Central Bank of Lesotho. So we are regulated by Central Bank of Lesotho because we deal with people's monies. We advise people on how to take care of their finances. So we need to be regulated so that mislead about. So we deal with how to advise people in terms of how do you budget for your money. Firstly, how do you set financial goals? Because working with money, it's all about first planning for it. So how do you set your financial goals? How do you budget for your money? How do you save money for your immediate expenses, your short-term goals, and how do you grow your money? How do you invest money? How do you grow your money from savings to investments? And also, how do you manage your debt? Because there's good debt and bad debt, and we're trying to teach people how they can use debt for growing and maybe being wealthy, and how to manage their already existing debt, and how to how to get out of bad debt, how to not spend, or how to take bad debt which affect their finances. We also talk about how do you protect your assets, because the whole of this concepts that I talked about, most of them or all of them are towards wealth management. How do we get wealthy as Basotho? And this journey, like I said, it's something that we developed, and it's an idea that came to me because I was like, I know I need to be wealthy, but is there information which I can find out which will help me to get there? And I struggled to find that, and I was like, but there's a gap here. Why don't I take this gap? Why don't I teach people how to manage their finances wisely, get wealthy, protect the already existing assets? Because you'd find that you have a property, you have a car, but you're not protecting it, and when storms comes, whenever a car gets into an accident, whenever a house maybe then we have challenges. So we're going back to debt, you're going back to your already invested money, and then you cash out the investments, and then but when you have that cycle, financial literacy concepts, then you know you're safe. So what I looked at was, okay, sharp, we're already working with people in finances, but I need advice. For instance, I have money that I needed to invest, and I didn't know where to go, because if you go to a certain bank, I'm not sure if podcasting it's okay. So for instance, if you go to FNB, you'd find advice, and you want to invest your money, you would find advice that is tailor-made to FNB products only, right? When you go to Standard Bank, same story. When you go to Alliance Insurance, they'll only tell you about their products based on that are the Alliance products. So there's nobody who is out there who is having all of this to say, no, if you accept Central Bank, when you go to Central Bank, they're the ones who will tell you, okay, fine, you can go to there's this product, and then you need to make your own decision. But there's no independent advisor who would say, I have all this, we can compare them, and then based on your decision, based on your goal, then I can advise you to go to FNB, or I can advise you to go to Standard Bank, because the goal that you're trying to achieve, this bank is the one that will advise you. There is an investment company, 1, 2, 3. There is Central Bank, which has certain investments, treasury bonds and treasury bills. So if you go to them based on your goal, then this is where you get assistance. So that's why we came up with Visionary Mentors and said, I want to be an independent advisor who won't be advising based on the products, but will look at the market in general and then advise a client based on the need and based on which product suits their goal or what they want to achieve by them. Then that's when it came, and here we are. We started in 2012, It started as a side hustle because I was still working then, and I worked for different NGOs. I've been in the financial sector, like I said. I told you I was already I did economics, so I've been working in the financial field or space for since 2004 until now. So I've been working as an accountant, I was a financial analyst, I was a finance manager, most of the fields that in finance I occupied those positions. And when you work with people, you also people are not managing their money wisely, and that's when the passion, based on also my professional experience and what I learned at school, and also what I learned at UNISA, because now in UNISA it was more of a high level strategy, high level leadership, business, and this is how Visionary Mentors was born, and this is where we are now. And yeah.
Well, speaking more about investing and more with in terms of finance, some of the youth, they don't participate much in them. Like, they're still young, parents is out of what can you say to them? The finances and investments, Monyane, or is there any certain age?
So it's a very interesting question that you're asking, because we as visionary mentors, we are trying to change the narrative, right? Because if you understand, and Hans Ahola, my friend Tukisho Ntebe, has a book called Chaledase Pase, whereby he's trying to teach Basotho Hore. We should talk about finances openly, and there's no restriction of the age. And we also as visionary mentors believe in that, and it has been something that people didn't discuss. Our parents were not open enough to us about the finances, that we as visionary mentors want to change that narrative. That's why we have a school, a financial literacy school called Future Visionaries, which teaches kids how to save money, how to invest, we teach them about debt, we teach them about your risk, all the concepts that I talked about earlier. We teach these kids, but based on what level they are, from the ages of 6. So, in answering your question of now age, no, we try to teach them from the age of 6, because that's when they're still fresh. Most of the ideas that you teach a kid at that age, they are and they will forever remain in their heads until they have grown up. So a 6-year-old Osanale bank account, we have partnered with FNB, and we open accounts for them. We already have bank accounts. They already know how to, during the course of the year, we expose them to the banking sector, to go and explore what a banking sector does, and they are taught how to read a bank statement. They are taught how to read and understand to bank charge, to interest in a bank statement. If you save money, there's a bit of interest that is attached to saving money, and after a certain time, they see their money growing through a bank statement. So it's very interesting, and like we said, very lucky, because the current generation is lucky and they have exposure to those things. So there's no age limit to say, because yes, from that age. And we are trying to change the narrative in a way. We've always said, Mahoa, it's just because they did things the other way, which we are trying to change now. A white person at age 21, when our first Tonakholo also there's your car, everything is taken care of. These are your savings and investments. So we're trying to say, at that age, if you are now being exposed to the world, then what have we equipped you with so that you are able to be on your own and manage your finances better? You are now going to earn a salary because what I also say are you equipped enough to manage your own money? Are you equipped enough to say, then I can grow my money into being a different person? So we are trying to teach these kids from this age. We believe this very weekend we've also partnered with Liberty Life Insurance, and this weekend we're having a boot camp for all of for the kids, whereby we're going to have the whole day for kids to talk about finances. We have games there, financial games. Monopoly, and you think but there's financial lessons that you learn from just playing Monopoly, whereby you learn how to save money, you learn how to spend, you learn how to buy property, you learn how to sell property. So essentially the investment. So after playing those games, then we tell them what lessons they should learn from those. So game at that age, and learning through games is the best for them. And yes, we're going to have the whole day just talking about finances and playing games. Yeah.
Well, you are doing a lot of impactful work. So how do you want to be remembered in the future? Let's say house everything. Or how do you want to be remembered? Like, when do you think of you from now official?
Yeah, I think that is a very good question, which I normally end target at the presentation. I'm a person who talks about generational wealth so much. I have a passion for generational wealth. So generational wealth is just saying, what have you learned? What did you do in your lifetime, in your generation, that you are able to leave the legacy behind, so that other people or your children or your grandchildren, when they are here on earth, they will say, he was here, we still remember him, though we don't know him, we didn't meet him, but he was there, he left some legacy, and we still remember him with this. So it goes to the and I always say, I always challenge people to say, what do you want to be remembered with? Household CEO, which is something, and that's why I said at Visional Mentors, we try to change the narrative, and we are saying it's one of its kind, this financial literacy school, and we are proud to say it's the first in the country, financial literacy, and we're still talking with the authorities, so we should take it to goal, and I know Central Bank is already working on that with the Ministry of Education in order to teach kids from the young age about how to manage their finances, not to manage the business finances, in accounting and commerce. So what I would want to be remembered with is someone who was out there, who changed the narrative for Basotho people in terms of how they look at their finances, in terms of the coming generation, to say, yes, we did change the narrative, and Basotho na jena economy ya Lesotho e se batla e hodile. I may not live long enough to see it happening. That's what generational wealth is. You build legacy for people to enjoy, but we know you will not enjoy it. So it's what I would want to be remembered with, someone who stood out there and was a personal finance advocate, and he changed some of the things. We are knocking on doors now, and it seems like I'm with TK and other people. Interview TK here, and is one person in the industry, and we are trying to shape the industry so that we have independent advisors, and we want to say people back and Kamarao should take from us, and yes, they did it, they paved the way for us, and this is what now because of that Monyane ala Fisha and Azamaya, and we still remember what he did.
What are some of the challenges you met along the way? Because I believe it wasn't easy. Like, there are some of the struggles still accompanying along the way.
Yeah, happily, it's. I was still working in one of the NGOs. So what happened is, obviously, and I advocate for several streams of income, not just one stream of income. And on the background, I think I took from my dad. That guy was a hustler. That guy was a pastor. He was into politics. At times he was a magician. He will just take his bag and then he does magic and 50 cents and then all of the sudden we have something to eat. He was a football coach. Okay, he also owned the shop. Wow. So by then, in the school, would go to the shopong and read shopong and I think that's why I learned okay, and different streams of income is something that we should engage on. So because I wanted to make some background to the question.
The challenges.
Okay. So then okay, now I remember what I was driving at, and I did work, and while I was working in different NGOs, so one, we had short contracts with them 3 months, 6 months, and you were not able to make long-term plans. 3 months, 6 months, 1 year, and so on. So and you also had to diversify and look at how you can find other streams of income. And I joined MWay. I don't know if you're aware of MWay,
yeah,
which taught me a lot. It was another stream of income that I was exploring. It taught me a lot because they have a program, personal finance, personal development, which teaches you how to be resilient, which teaches you how to set goals. It teaches you about life, and there's books that you read, and from there onwards, I told myself, there's one quote that I learned from the time I was in MWay, which says, we work in order to stop working, right? We work in order to stop working. So we go to work, and you either you're employed, whether you're self-employed, but after a certain period, you want to stop working, and then your money should then start working for you because you have worked for it. You work for the money now, and then after a certain period, the money has to work for you. So we work in order to stop working. We work hard now so that we stop working, and then when you stop working, then you have something that would be able to take care of your needs when you stop working. So that's when I started setting goals to say I want to retire at, I think I was saying at 35 then. Very ambitious. So I was still working and at those NGOs, and then at 35 I wasn't able to retire, and at 39 I took a leap of faith and retired. Is it at 39? I think it was at 39. And I was like, okay, sharp, I'm retiring. I think I've achieved my goals, and I have a plan that I'll implement afterwards. But there was one thing that I'm coming to your challenge. It's the biggest challenge, which also helped me to work on starting Visionary Mentors, because it was not to start it, but to make sure that it's working, because it was already there. I had made plans, everything, but I had a housing loan, right? I had a housing loan, and the information that I had by then was from my personal banker, was insurance will be able to take care of the housing loan once you stop working. Sharp. And we did everything. I submitted letters to the bank, and when I submitted the letters to the bank, I found another person in office. This one was on sick leave, and she told me, nope, this is not happening. That the insurance only, because it only pays for personal loan for the 6 months installments, not the housing loan. Housing loan, if you are no longer working, the bank repossesses the house for you. And I was like, wow. So I needed to find a backup plan. I needed to find what I can do, and I had taken my terminal benefits to the investments because I had planned everything. So I had to go and cash out my investments in order to take care of this loan for a period of time, and things didn't go well. I was into the transport business, and I think by then I was not ready because of what had happened. So after maybe 2-3 years, I had to go back to employment. And after that, there was some change of mindset in terms of, that's what I tell people now to say, people who are employed are very relaxed. But when you come from being self-employed and then you go back to work, you now have a different mindset, and you're able to save more money than you were able to get done before, because you know what happens down there. And that was the biggest challenge, but that I can talk about, which derailed me or made me to change plans. But I always take it in a good way to say it was a blessing in disguise, because it taught me a lesson to say, how is life out there, and what do you need to do in terms of saving for an emergency. And I had to build my emergency fund, which is now stronger, which will now be take care of me after retirement. And I can proudly say in 2025 June, I retired for the second time. So I'm now wiser. Yeah, I'm now focusing on Visionary Mentors and other avenues that I'm exploring, and yeah, I'm now a retiree, second time.
Well, what was the best advice that you received from someone?
Oh, okay. Maybe just to go back to the challenge, there are challenges which I think I talked about it earlier, which would be the industry that you are working, which is very foreign, and number one, but habana challenge, that's number one. So you're telling people, okay, I'm going to advise you to get out of debt, and you need to pay me. And they're like, but since it's not so I should pay you. so that we can advise so it's a challenge that we face as independent financial advisors, and people are not willing to pay, and companies hanyane ka hanyane kwana ntse bona ba etsa open up ba se ba re bitse hona jwale to go and talk to their staff, because one of the things that we encourage haholo kore we should be called to talk to staff ha ba qala the employment. Firstly, even just the graduates, ha ba graduate before by school, we need to talk to them so that we prepare them for life out there. And la ba qala mesebetsi, we should talk to them, and la ba qata mohlomong ba tjhentjha mesebetsi, we should also talk to them. And when they go into retirement, we should also talk to them to prepare them for retirement. And it's those challenges whereby companies are not willing to pay. How about price? And you're like, now, okay, how am I going to survive? So it's one of those challenges. Now, going into a young person,
the best advice
I received from someone, whatever, there are so many, but I want to because I want to think and remember and advise which helped me to start the visionary mentors and just go on with it. And so when you start a business, you look for people who have been in the field for Nakwitelele, and a friend of mine, introduced me to TK and Senyane. They were both professionally trained in the financial planning world. TK was already independent as a business, Senyane, and I was just a professional. And then I had a meeting with them. And what Senyane told me that day it wasn't fresh advice anymore, but in a leha anzan jetsa okay, mona fielding ena ho jwang ho etsa jwang, and everything e ke tlamehang hore ke sebetsa ka jwang. But how he said that day was that day, haeba o ready hona jwale, just go out there and do your thing. O tla etsa diphoso, o tla etsa jwang, and there will be as you go along. So if you're ready, just go out there and start. Like I'm saying, it's advice that you hear everywhere, but he said it to me and it made sense at that time. And I was brave enough to say, but I'm ready to start. And this is where we are now, and it has helped me a lot. The best advice that which has helped me, and this and if you have an idea, if you have anything that you want to start, the best time to start is now. Perfect, because there is no perfection. 10% imperfection, but because we want to aim for perfection.
Speaking on the process, some people are afraid to make mistakes, especially because it's maybe traditional schooling, like we shouldn't make mistakes. What can you say to those people what's having to make mistakes? Perfect.
That mistakes you cannot so you cannot be doing something and you receive sorry. You can't do anything 100% perfect. You can be 100% perfect. Perfection is overrated, but what's wrong? And I would want to say to them, if you have something that you want to do, even at school, if you want to go at school, most of the people business people, political leaders, everyone are perfect. And all we need to do is to say, what do you learn from the mistake? Because a mistake has to be a lesson that you're saying, okay, this is the lesson that I took from the mistake that I did, and so I can just say to them, mistakes are, yes, they are uncomfortable, but it's what happens to everyone. And we should just say, if you have something that you want to start, go and start it. You learn from mistakes that you did, and then one thing we need to learn, just don't repeat the same mistake. If you have learned from the mistake, it means you're going to improve next time. And after that mistake, and you just need to do it.
What can you say to the unemployment crisis in Lesotho? Any words of advice to different stakeholders, or how can they participate?
This one is a very controversial one, and it's a very controversial one. And anyway, yes, we are here, and some youth by boot camp SOS for the past 2 days. And then they are gathered there. And what I was saying to them was, we are here, and generation one is very lucky, because we have most of the things that the other generations, they are here in front of us. But we choose, it's very controversial. We choose to ignore the important thing and focus on, we feel like we are entitled. Generation A feeling entitled. Yes, we agree there is a lot of unemployment in the country. And I always say, something that you don't have control over, just focus on things that you have control on. So, there's lots of things that we can do. We create a message, we get it a message, but we feel like we are entitled to we feel like we are entitled to get a but but this is your life. Like I said, they taught me how to be resilient, and one thing that they taught me you should focus on your own economy, not on the country's economy. That means you cannot control the economy, but when you have your own economy that you need to control, and what are you doing about it? Because you have everything that is in front of you. I was teaching them about how to start businesses with no capital. So we can't do businesses, we can't because hana capital. Muso create capital. Yes, I sympathize with everyone. Actually, we have a crisis, but I also say control. When I focus on those that you can control on your own. I know. And I always say, of late, not everyone is an entrepreneur. I agree. Not everyone is an entrepreneur, because by right, they can't even think of starting businesses. They are made to because entrepreneurs have to have a office by the accountant, so a lady entrepreneur of it means how about so Muso or create a waiting. But in the meantime, We can't just wait around even one the drugs so if we can tell ourselves sorry, we stand on our own, we use the resources that we have because we have the skills that and there's internet out here. We have money to go through social media, like I said, every day. We have money to buy data. But are you using that money to make that data to make money? We are here. You guys, ba interview because honale monyetla hore ha le interviewer, you're going to earn some money ka your channel. And rona re dutse monana re na le di phone. Everybody has phones, and are we using the resources capital? So I think that's the advice that I can give to youth. Okay, let's not rely on the authorities. Let's stand on our own. Yes, but
can you elaborate more on the difference between the good debt and the bad debt? Like loan of a highly handling of a highly forgetting, because most people can some people but how honka mokoloto because
yeah. So more iqedileng teng hle re ka re hona le batho ba tshabang sekoloto ka pele ya bona kaofela. That's very true. Kore if they have a debt ha ga le ka tlung, because number one they would say hish ebe batho ba tlo ba ntse ba jwang mohlomong o kadimo motho mong motho o tlo ntse ba jwang ha ke mokolota and all that, and it does not sit well with them. Even loan ya bankeng fela. I know a friend of mine e leng hore o la ha hantle ya hae o ile bankeng a sa qetela go lela ntlo fela because a go tshaba a debt, which is okay. We have different personalities, but I encourage people to look on the other side, to say there is goodness that can come or that does come out of debt, especially when you are building wealth. A good debt is a debt that you take in order to maybe buy something, this property that we are in, this equipment that you are using it to make money. So if you take a loan from the bank or anywhere else, it will equipment there, and you know that this equipment is going to generate income, then that's a good debt. And what happens most of the time, the income that you're going to generate here will pay the debt back. So you have used the bank's money, someone else's money, to make yourself wealthy. Rich. Because there's difference between rich and wealthy, and I don't like being rich. I want to be wealthy. So you use debt to be wealthy, and we are banking. And this is one thing that Batwa should be grateful about. Banking what the pay slip. So if you have a pay slip, you can always use the pay slip to be wealthy, because you can take debt from the bank or elsewhere, and then it will flow like a property. I know people who have bought property because of the pay slip. There's one lady called Level Class was South Africa, whom I invited last year at the financial literacy in Nchakha, who told people she was earning 3,500 when she started, but now she has more than 20 properties. Wow. And it's because of debt, because she used debt wisely. yaba o sebedisa the 3,500 that she has, yaba nka loan ya banka o reka property, and then she has been property after property after property, because once you have property, how qeta this loan, the property you can ebe o sebedisa ile yona e banka yo fang tšhelete e nngwe hape, and then you buy another property, and then since they are so they are using debt wisely. Big companies how can financial statement in that on debt, because they are using debt to finance some of their operations in order to grow wealthy. So bad debt on another time festival and take it to. Yeah, and people maybe did not budget or did not save for Tikita Malutunyami during the course of the year. And how okay, let's go to Malutunyami this weekend or a year. It was like 10,000. It was machunism, and then after machunism on cadet, and you're just going to enjoy that for 3 days, and after that it will get but also for income generating activities. So that's good debt versus bad debt. You can also take good debt. You're taking a loan to go to school, and that is investment that you're doing on yourself. And after acquiring a certain skill, it means you're going to be able to make more money because of that skill that you obtained. So that is also good debt.
Can you elaborate more on the difference between being rich and being wealthy?
I thought about being rich and being wealthy. Yeah, I don't know. From the age of 6. So being wealthy is being rich is having a lot of money, and that's my own explanation. It's having a lot of money, but a little liquid cash, cash over time has a value. But being wealthy is having assets that would last you. Remember, I talked about generational wealth. Having assets that will last you for a long time, because we can value based on, you can value your net worth based on the money that you have and also the assets that you have. For instance, if you have this property worth maybe 2 million, you can also have 2 million in cash. It will feel like a giving the cash, because cash is liquid. Last week, remember R. Kelly. R. Kelly, for me, that's my analysis. I'm not sure of the facts that that's about him, but for me it was like we knew him to be a wealthy or a rich person, because he's been there. But there was an article that I read which said when he went to prison, he didn't have money to pay for his bail. It means all that he has acquired was just riches. It was just liquid money. Because you can't be wealthy. He was bailed out by a friend because that's not child. So for me, rich, not wealthy. Because now wealthy is saying it's an asset. There's a property if I get a child every day. So it's wealthy, it's something that will sustain you for a longer time. That's the difference between rich and wealthy according to my definition.
Wow. You mentioned that your father was a pastor. So are you like when personally like religion or It's the first question.
No. Lesotho Nagapa Africans. It's not. I don't consider it as a personal question, because most of us we are Christians. So yes, I was born and raised Kagalelapa like so yes, I was born in that family, and I'm still, even now, a believer in Jesus Christ. I'm a Christian, and I still go to church on Sundays. And he was a pastor, so when he passed on, my mom was now the one who's left in that, and so so yeah, it's like that.
For career guidance, what can you say to parents? How can they support their children in terms of choosing their careers? Because batswadi ba bang o tlo fumana if bana rata bo teacher ba tla mona highway teacher in this age, how can parents support their children in terms of choosing their careers?
It's a very hard one to explain or to give advice on it, because so like I said before, we are a generation where information, at least for now, it's readily available, but we still have parents by old school. I'm one of them. I have a business, Visionary Mentors, and I'm teaching my kids, because I know what it is to not have a job. I'm now teaching my kids because that's what I know. So currently, how most of my concentration just because I know this field. But it doesn't say I'll force them to do what I did or what I want them to do. It's a personal choice, especially nowadays, whereby, like I'm saying, information is free and there's lots of different careers around. But these kids are exposed to them, and one of them was saying, I want to go on space, I want to work at the space, spacing. So how do space? This person wants to work at the space, and so it's for us to support them, because this is their life, and to guide them, but more of provide support to them, because this is their life. This is the life alone. They will be stuck with it. When I show this USA, BSc, stuck in the science, hard battle, and has a society. So I'll just say for them, support them, but most importantly, just go out and look for information. Information, take them to some mentors like Ichulo who have been in the field. There's one, a cousin of mine, Anna Bataholo, it's a course at the National University of Lesotho. So, and then we had to take her to different people from different fields. We took them to the one who did some doctorate. We took her to the one who did law and some others, so that he takes different perspectives from Batwana Bangat, and then she can make a decision on now which one am I taking. And she did eventually made a decision, because she now had information, and now I'm choosing this because I know I like it and I don't like the other ones. And it should be mostly from people who have walked the journey. So I would just say to parents, don't be shy to take your kids to people who have walked the journey. There's people out there who are willing to mentor people, who are willing to mentor kids. So who can I take my child to mentor and help in their career guidance and the
Well, what inspires you to keep going each and every day?
I can hope like I had an injury last week. Yeah. That's because I was at gym. So I've been a person who's active in terms of physical activities for a very long time. Like I said, my father he was also a football coach, so manale a football team. So and would be very active, and now I'm also a certified fitness coach. So like it's exercising and gym, and I can say that's what keeps me going, because when you go to gym, I always gym in the morning at 5 o'clock. I'm a 5 a.m. club guy. So how does it mean you are refreshed or sharp, or you can tackle any challenges that come your way other than how you are late. So it has helped me a lot. It has helped me through difficult times. While I was doing my MBA with UNISA, but I would force myself to go to gym for just 30 minutes, and I would wake up 1 o'clock in the morning and do the assignments, and then 6:30 I have to get to work, but I'll pop up at gym for 30 minutes and then and I'll be refreshed. So it has helped me in a lot of things. It has helped me to stay healthy. It has helped me during the stressing times. So I would say it's what has kept me going on in life to face any challenge. And the passion I have for finances, and talking about finances, so it's my passion, and it also keeps me going on when you see people that you have mentored or that you have talked to for the good, and giving you testimonies that savings group 3 million this year. And when you hear testimonies of people saying savings group I was able to buy a car, she was able to buy a car, I was able to go on holiday. Those are the things that keeps you going on every day, to say, I know I'm doing the right thing. I know it's changing people's life. So why not?
Wow. So do you have regrets? Any regrets? Like how shall I imagine looking back?
Honestly. Because I always say should start anytime and should be able to face challenges. When I face some disappointment, I just say no. This was a learning curve. I learned something. When I retired 5 years ago, and then it taught me a lesson, and then I took those lessons to say, this is what I'm going to learn from the mistake that I did. So I cannot regret. So I can't say I regretted doing this, because yes, and how it's a pause. I'm a very optimistic person. How challenge solution? How can you get out of the solution than to be stuck in that problem and no, I'm not that person.
Well, thank you so much for being on the Reconnect Podcast and TV Show. Is there anything else you'd like to share?
Yes, definitely. The financial literacy school that we talked about, Queen, Saturday. So we are already taking the 2026 intake, and patala 250 fela. It's very cheap for a month. Every month patala 250, and registration I think 200. So people who want to take their kids there about the finances, you're welcome. And we are able to take them throughout the year. Every year, we have an annual seminar, the finances, which in January. So this year also we are hosting a financial literacy seminar, which is going to be held at Lehakwe. If they can go to our socials, Visionary Mentors, Facebook and other socials, and also Nchakha, Monyane. So we have different speakers, whereby every year we host 4 or 5 speakers who have walked the journey, who are experts in their field, to talk about finances, so that we prepare, or we do our financial goals well in time. And we also invite different financial industry companies to come and the banks should come and tell people certain financial goal TK debt should be good debt and bad debt. Now we have someone from FNB or from Standard Bank or from Post Bank or from Nedbank. These are the options that we have. Insurance, okay, these are the options that we have. Investments, the investment. So we group them, we put them in one house to say, this is the plan, these are the challenges. So now we also we most of the time invite someone from South Africa, and this year we have invited Witness Ndaga, who's very, very, very popular and is very big on finances, on property, and how his journey is very interesting, on how he started the financial literacy journey, how he's now a property guru, and he has an app, the Property Fella. So we have invited him and some local people, Mofamere, TK, Mantarezo, and so we'll be in that seminar, and I invite people to come. They can come in numbers, but I get it for as well. It will be fun because we'll be just talking about finances for the whole day.
Wow.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. We hope to invite you again in the future.
Thank you so much, Bye-bye.